Okay, everybody. I thought it was time to actually finish photo assignment 1. So I set up my iPhone to record sort of the action as I was doing it. So here's the corner of our house that I set up to do the pictures. And basically I was focusing on this area right here to put a glass in the window. This ledge is just wide enough to set a glass without too much risk of it falling over. But and I'll post this raw video so you guys can watch it if you want. It's a bit lengthy. There's some significant pauses, but we'll move on. So there's the glass. And to give you more information, now I have two glasses. One has, they're almost identical, except one has this thick base here, and the other one has a much thinner base. I was looking for straight-sided glasses that were clear, but couldn't find any, so this was the best I could find. Now, I was hoping to get bubbles in the water. However, that did not happen. I even tried using club soda at one point, and while I got an occasional bubble, it still did not generate the bubbles that I was hoping for. But anyway, show must go on, so we ignore that. So I have my glass. Let me show you the picture that I have for that. As soon as my computer, extra lot. Actually, let's go to details. All right, we're sorted. So let's take a look at this picture. And I have a total of 10 pictures that I'll go through as I make changes to the scene. This is, of course, photo assignment 1 variations. So here's our first image. Let me change our make this a little straighter. So there's our glass in the window. As you can tell, I have screen in the window, and this wood's fairly old. So anyway, that's our first image. And as we go through, I'm going to add and take away things and see what we come up with. Okay, so let's go back to our video here. Oh, and by the way, this is the leg of the tripod that I was using to take pictures with. I'll skip forward here. Okay, now I've added flowers here, so my wife recently got flowers, and so I pulled a couple of the small ones out, and I'm adding them to the glass and see how that comes out. So let's flip over and take a look at the picture generated by that. And here we go. Okay. So here's our first picture. The picture's okay. However, the flowers are a bit out of focus. But I do like the composition of it. You know, you see the details, but again, like I said, the flowers are out of focus. Anyway, moving on. So that's my first variation. Get back to the video here, and so at this point I'm shooting these flowers. Okay, now I got this funny little rock. The rock has 3 holes in it that sort of look like a face, as you can tell there. So I thought it might add some interest to the pictures, and we'll take a look at the first one of those. Now, as you can see, the exposure, my flowers are still out of focus, and unfortunately the rock is just a little too dark. I mean, you can kind of see one of the holes there, but yeah, really disappointed in this picture. Was hoping for a bit more out of it, but anyway. One way to have solved this would have been to add a light here, but since I'm dealing with a glass of water, I didn't want to do that, because of course the glass would pick up the reflections. The other thing I can do is increase my exposure via lowering my shutter speed, increasing the aperture, or I should say decreasing the aperture, but that would have put more of the picture out of focus. So in the end I did wind up reducing my shutter speed a little bit, but I also bumped up dropped the ISO, trying to get a cleaner picture. So that's one of the first variations here. So we have our little rock sitting there. I don't know. I think in the end it didn't really add a whole lot. But let's see what I do next here. Okay. At this point, I've taken away the glass of water. And I am currently filling the glass with club soda, hoping to get those bubbles. And as you'll see in a minute here, that did not turn out the way I wanted. It basically just looked like water. Putting the little face back. Now, one thing I did, I made my adjustment here in ISO and exposure time. So let's take a look at that picture. Okay, a little bit better. However, my flowers are still kind of out of focus, and I have no bubbles. But so again, not really the results I was hoping for. Okay, so we'll move on here. Alright, again, new glass. So at this point, my rock is no longer on the edge. I put both flowers back in, but slightly different configuration. And let's take a look at my picture from this. Okay. Little bit better focused on the flowers. Of course, I don't have the rock in here. I could probably straighten that just a little bit. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. So this picture is a nice picture. It's a tad on the dark side, but that's okay. My whites are slightly blown out here, but you know, you can still kind of see the wood grain here. And this image is not really overly processed, but I don't know. I think I can do better. So let's take a look, see where we move on. Okay. So my next adjustment, taking pictures. Okay, I'm coming back in. I'm gonna make an, oh, I'm looking for the rock. I dropped the rock. So we're gonna add the rock back into the picture. Get that set back up. Oh. There we go. All right. So let's see our next picture. And by the way, this photo assignment was significantly harder than I thought it was going to be. I think that's a little bit better. So you can kind of make out the face here. Now I could bring up the exposure to show more definition there, but on the other hand, I'm already starting to blow out my highlights up here. So, but all in all, not terrible. You know, one thing I'm not liking here though is I'm getting a reflection here in the window of this edge. I do have sufficient blur where it's hiding the screen, but anyway, let's move on and see what our next variation is. Okay. Oh, I believe I have removed a flower. So, decided to remove that one, make this a little simpler image. So let's take a look, see what I got. Okay. Again, just the angle here. Okay, so now my flower looks better. It's in focus, but very blown out. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not great. Now, one thing I did do is I applied kind of a vignette and a blurring effect around the edge of the picture. But anyway, that's the result of that image. So let's go back to our video here. Taking more pictures, more pictures. some point I have another change in here. Or do I? Yes. So at this point, what I am doing is I am putting a piece of wax paper over a part of the window. And this is to basically blur out my background and kind of add a soft filter to the light coming through the window, because at this point I've been shooting in the light. I've been shooting using natural light, but it was a bit earlier, and in 15 minutes your light does change. So the light is starting to become harsher as I'm taking pictures. So let's take a look at the next picture here. Okay, apparently I took another picture without that filter in place. So anyway, let me get to the next picture. Okay, so now we have the wax paper in place, which has softened the light a bit. Get rid of that. Oops. That is not what I wanted to do there. There we go. So now I have a little bit softer light. I bumped up, and by the way, when I was converting this into black and white, I pushed up the magenta, or pushed down the magenta, made it darker, which kind of brought out the details in the flower. And then I adjusted the oranges and reds, because this wood, as you see in the video, it has a very orange reddish cast to it. But the wax paper did a nice job. So anyway, that is that picture. And I let my video play out. Let's take a look here from there. Okay, there I'm putting up the wax paper, I'm taking my shot, and I believe all they did for the next one was I removed the rock here in a moment. Or do I show that? Let's see. I apparently do not show that. So that's the end of the video, but I will show you my final picture. And this is, of course, without the rock. Wax paper is in place. And instead of having the glass in the center, I cropped this to have it basically fall into the rule of thirds, and that is my resulting image, and I'm actually kind of pleased with this image. A little blown out here, but not terrible. Anyway, that's it for photo assignment 1, variations. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks, and have a great day.